Hello and welcome to Modern Toy Fair News, the weekly show that talks about toys. I am your host, Michael, and I am joined by my co-host and YouTube wife, Jamar_Games. How are you this week, Jamar?
I'm doing pretty good, Mike. How about yourself? I
I,
always ask.
I know, I always appreciate it. I'm pretty good.
That's good. That's good. I feel a little bit different. Normally bald and a white guy,
This is
but
true. This is very true. Usually, first week we have a bald white guy on, but unfortunately, he had some old people problems and had to have some work done, so he will not be here this week. But we're gonna rework the schedule a little bit and make him still fill out his time card.
yeah. I wonder if anyone noticed how luscious his lips look after this surgery.
I mean, between that and the eyebrow reduction, I really hope that people notice so he didn't waste his money. If you do happen to watch this, I love you and your eyebrows. They are magnificent. Anyway, the way this show works, if you're new to it, we do the breakdown of the weekly toy news, we do our weekly purchases, and we send you on your merry way. So let's get right into it the way we do every week, and that is with Mcfarlane Toys. This week, not a whole lot on the table, but we got a very, very blurry leak from an overseas retailer, Toys Alley, which includes the DC Multiverse Unmasked Red Hood and Snyder Cut Darkseid figures that are supposed to release later this year. No pre-order information or anything yet. The only thing we do know is I believe Red Hood is rumored to be a Walmart exclusive gold label figure here in the States, so stay tuned for more on that. However, pre-orders did go up for the DC Multiverse Superman vs. Devastator 2-pack. The 2-pack is available on Big Bad Toy Store for $41.99, shipping this month. So, when I say very, very blurry, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Like, you have to squint very, very hard to tell what these is. Like,
I was surprised. I'm looking for the photo and I look at it, I'm like, oh, it just hasn't loaded yet.
no, it's really just that bad. Like,
Jeez.
you could definitely make out the Red Hood one. Like, that one's a
Oh
little more
yeah, for
obvious.
sure.
But Darkseid, if it wasn't for the bright red eyes, I swear on everything, I'd be just like, what
I
is
think
what
I
am I
see
looking
it
at?
now. I'm like, well, is that a bandana? I'm like, how is that dark side? Now it makes sense. I can tell now from that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not much to go
are
off of.
these like intentional leaks? Because this seems too blurry to be
Yeah,
like it's
it
kind
always
of
seems to come from overseas retailers, which makes me think that McFarlane's like, well, if we do it in the States, it's going to be too obvious. But if we
yeah,
just send these blurry images as part of like the pre-order listings overseas and they just happen to leak it and get the hype train going,
yeah.
well,
They're
because
like,
I can't
oh no,
imagine, like, even if you want to really just assume this is not intentional and say that they just have a tiny microscopic thumbnail for their pre-orders
yeah, but
that they just copied and pasted and enlarged, and that's why it looks even worse than it already does. Um,
I mean, I'm no computer hacker or anything by all means, but this doesn't look so much as it was a really tiny photo blown up. Because
mhm.
I would imagine this distortion would have been like 10 times worse. This looks like this is the photo, and we just put on a blurry like filter over top of it in Photoshop is what it looks like to me.
You're,
That's
you're
why I say it's this intentional,
you're
you
not
know?
wrong. As someone who has to use Photoshop for the show to make the graphics that everyone gets to see, it would look probably a little more pixelated. But there's other things you can do in Photoshop to smooth that out to make it look like it was that way. So
Fair.
if they wanted to put a lot of effort into it, they could definitely make this look like it was a tiny picture blown up.
Right.
Um, Unfortunately,
Let's just
without
run the
talking,
unblur tool and we'll figure it
oh,
out.
the
That's all you gotta
unblur
do.
tool, I'll get right
Yeah.
on that one. And you're gonna stand over my shoulder, just going enhance,
Enhance.
enhance.
That's kind of cool and fun to see. Before we were going into like the fact that this is real or is this not, as far as like intentional leaks, I didn't know we were getting Snyder Cut like figures, or is this just gonna be specifically for Darkseid? Like, or
Somebody didn't watch the show when he wasn't on it.
I must not have. I might
I
have
think it
jumped through.
was. I want to say it was the.
Oh, wait, was that on that show?
No, it was me and Nate. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure it was the
'cause I'm
first
like,
show of
wait,
the
I
year.
don't remember. Oh, okay, maybe that's
Because we
that.
talked. There was a leaked list of Snyder Cut movie figures, and
Okay,
they had like Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, or not Wonder Woman because they already have her out. It was Batman, Superman. Superman comes in black and silver and the red and blue. Cyborg with helmet. Um, Batman is without his mask on, and then mega figures of Darkseid and what was the main bad guy in the first versions?
oh, something Wolf.
Oh yeah, Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf, yeah.
Um, it was like them, and the Darkseid and Steppenwolf are like 10 inches or something like that. So they're in scale.
I
With
feel
the
like
other
we might
figures.
even talked about an update of this because I remember thinking about the Wonder Woman figure because maybe we discussed the Wonder Woman for 1984 or something.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
we discussed that
My
on the
brain's trash.
show at one point, and
Yeah,
we've talked about it multiple times
I
about
think I thought
will they
maybe like
like.
movie one or
Yeah, because you
I
don't
don't
really
remember.
need to have a one from the Snyder Cut because it's just going to be maybe a dingier color
Right.
gradient.
Like that.
Um,
I don't know. My brain's not good, so
I mean, maybe you watched the episode and you just forgot, and that's why you're
that's true.
piecing this together. Because me and Nate did talk about how you wouldn't need a Wonder Woman figure in that line because you already have the 1984 one, which her costume
Mm,
doesn't change much except for the colors are brighter because the movie's in the sun and where things
yeah.
are colorful versus being in like
Well, I am
dingy
Nate,
hellscape.
so I do remember this conversation.
Ah,
So
that's right. I forgot that
that's
you
fine.
grew some hair and actually everybody, this is
I
what
just was saying,
Nate had done in his surgery. He wanted to fool everyone by looking more like Jamar.
Wait till you see Jamar next week.
Oh yeah, he's doing the opposite. He's growing his eyebrows out. He's gonna be bald and he's gonna be white as fuck. So stay tuned for that.
But yeah,
Moving
as
on.
far as NXT, yeah, I guess we don't really have to discuss the 2-pack. We kind of already said our
Yeah,
piece.
I mean, realistically, we showed off that 2-pack already. It's
Yeah,
up for pre-order now. That's all you need to know. If you want it, get it. If not, don't. There's not really much to discuss there. Um,
yeah.
so I'm just gonna move on to NECA just because I feel like they might have a little
Same.
more meat on the bone for us, and that is with the glimpse of the Toonie Terror Jaws shark, along with in progress look at Ultimate Shaman Predator. And then NECA also gave us a teaser image of the upcoming American Werewolf in London figure. No pre-orders yet or details on any of these. So keep an eye out for that. Randy has said there is more information coming, along with more teases coming. It sounds like they're just taking Toy Fair and stretching it out. But that is still not it from NECA. We got in-box looks at the Puppet Master 2-packs, the Ultimate Blade and Torch, and the Pinhead and Tunnel, or Tunnel, I don't know, 2-packs. They are both available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store for $29.99, shipping actually, in this month, in March 2021. So, out of all these, the one I'm most excited for and also kind of on the fence about is the Jaw Shark.
Yeah.
Like, I want it, but
What's
I have
your
problems with it.
okay? That's what I say. What's your problem with it? Because I'm curious if it's the same thing that I have with it.
So I love the idea that it's just half the shark sticking out of the water because like obviously that's pretty much how it is in the movie. You don't really see the full
The whole thing.
shark.
Right.
Um, but I wish that they would have had like a plastic puddle around him because him like just sticking out of my shelf looks dumb. And
Yeah.
I hate using the cardboard inserts out of like the boxes and stuff as displays because I don't know, just it looks weird and usually they're flimsy and don't sit very well anyway.
I
So
agree.
I wish they would have done, even if it was just like a pale blue, like water blue puddle that he's
Just put
coming
it
out
together.
of, just something to give it a little more life versus just being a shark's head.
Right. That 100% is the same issue. I'm assuming then that this figure comes with it because at that point, and you're just getting the top part of the shark with
Mm-hmm.
his fin. That kind of bums me out because a lot of times with these Toon, like I just love the design of it, and I normally don't open them. So like,
Yeah,
how is
so
it
in
going to look
box
in
it
the
looked
box?
real crappy then.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm really concerned about. Um, I mean, we'll see. They normally do good like inbox
Mm-hmm.
poses and stuff, so I imagine that they'll have this solved, but that kind of worries me a lot. But like you said, a little puddle like blue water or effect around it, and it would connect the fin with it. Because then also you got to position it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of extra guesswork. But yeah, that was the first thing I saw. I was like, ooh, oh,
Yeah,
no.
I have a theory because I believe it has been hinted that these two will come together. My
Hmm.
guess is it'll probably come in like a box set instead of like the normal like bubble package,
Hmm.
and it will have that scene that we're seeing there in it, and then the jaw shark with him like inside it posed that way.
Like a
So inbox
yeah,
collectors don't get the shit end of the stick with this one. I mean, granted,
yeah.
both inbox and outbox collectors are kind of getting the shit end of the stick regardless
How
in
do
this
you make
scenario.
half of the shark? Like, come on.
Like
But, all right,
I get it because it's
I get it.
aesthetically
Yeah,
it makes more sense than just having a big ass shark on your shelf to have it like, oh, he's coming up and he's eating him. But I still think they should have had some sort of like plastic puddle around him to make it
yeah,
look like he's coming out of water. Like it doesn't even have to have a lot of detail. It literally could just be flat. I'm not even gonna ask for ripple effects. I just want
yeah.
something to make it look like he's coming out of
Just
water.
basically like the blue surrounding it. Just
Hmm.
cut that out, make it PVC, and there you go.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah,
And I
that's
imagine there's probably some customizers out there who will do that and sell it to idiots like me for like $40 and more than what the figure's worth. So it'll be a
I'd
whole
do
thing.
it for 10. If you find some puddles, I'll do it for 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also this like monster line is really intriguing me a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like I don't like it at all. Like I don't need, like I said, to buy anything else from NECA, but I'm like, man, these are looking really great. These are looking really good. So
I'm assuming you're talking about the American Werewolf in
yeah,
London.
American Werewolf. Yes, not the no, not
Not
the
not
Puppet
not the
Master.
Pupper
The
Master
Puppet
stuff.
Master stuff terrifies me, and I don't even. I might have watched like parts of this movie when I was a like young one, and it's very creepy and unsettling to me. So seeing the figures are just kind of like cool, but get it away from me. Like that's how I feel. But the American Werewolf is like definitely has me intrigued because with the like I said, Frankenstein monster, and then what was the other one? Oh, the Mummy. Like
Hmm.
I'm kind of like okay, this could be cool. And I know it won't be a forever run. They're not gonna make 30 versions of this, so it may be like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Might
I
be
mean,
interesting.
it's also nice because this is something where it it's not directly linked to the Universal Monsters line. So if you don't have
Hmm.
to have it if that's what you're aiming for, but it also opens that door to so many other like movies.
Yeah,
And I think I saw Randy tweet that it's going to have a additional head that has a hinge jaw so you can have it like open and
yeah, like
closed.
well, that's
Um
cool.
I also agree about the Puppet Master stuff. It just creeps me the fuck out. Like I'm not really
I mean, I get it.
not feeling it.
I'm assuming it's like a cool movie, but like I said, maybe I'll watch it and be like, you know what, this is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, or you'll just
But nah,
have nightmares and hear pitter patter through the hallways of your house for a month.
it terrifies me. So yeah, no thanks.
We can't like not talk about the Predator figure. I mean,
Yeah,
granted, it
I was
is
like,
just a bunch of white plastic pieces
no,
and
but
black plastic pieces. It still looks badass.
it does, and I like seeing this. Like these, I like seeing the progression
Hmm.
of the figures. So this is really cool. Even though again, we've talked about this 1,000 times now on the show. Like the Predator line is something that we just haven't really jumped or dove into. It's cool to always see how cool these figures look. But then it's a nice little, oh look at this, we get to see everything ahead of time. So it's neat in that way too.
Yeah,
Is this going to be the one that jumps you into Predator
depending on
line?
what it looks like at the end, like looking at the mask, it looks more like a skull than the
Mm-hmm.
normal like Predator mask. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'm kind of down with a voodoo Predator. So they they
That's
they
fair.
would have got me with the Lightning Predator from the con exclusive, but my WalMarts
It's
don't
gonna be a
carry
little
NECA
fun.
figures, so I had zero chance to get it. So
That's true. If that was gonna be, if any one of them were gonna be like the jumping on board point, that probably would have been the one.
yeah, that was
But
the one I was like, this is it. This is gonna be the Predator figure I'm getting. Nope. Moving on to Jakks, though, who also had a pretty big week for news. First, we have a new wave of Apex figures consisting of Pathfinder in his Crash Test Rare skin with boxing gloves, the Bloodhound in his Youngblood Legendary skin, and Mirage, who's just bad looking, to be honest.
oh god, I didn't see it
all
until now.
all three are available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store as a set for
Oh
three for
man.
$64.99, shipping Q2 of this year. Jakks also announced the new Sonic the Hedgehog 30th Anniversary Sonic 6-inch Collector's Edition figure. Sonic includes extra power ring hand, 3 interchangeable eye plates, 3 interchangeable mouths, and a display stand, and is available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store for $41.99, shipping Q2 as well. Yeah, so let's get to Mirage. Like, it just looks terrible.
I
Like,
did from the small photo. I'm like, oh, that looks this.
they
so
did Mirage dirty. Like, I'm not even a big Mirage fan, and oh man, so I feel like he needs to sue for like slander,
defamation.
defamation of character. They made his.
It's I can't stop laughing right now. The more I look at it, the funnier it gets. um, yeah, it is kind of sad because he's the only like human, I guess, character out of the three, and now it makes me want to look at the older ones because I don't remember.
Oh,
Like,
Wraith looked bad too.
Wraith?
Like pretty much
Okay, I was gonna say, was
anytime
Wraith
they've done
really
like a
bad?
human-esque character, it's rough.
Oh man, that's
Wraith
a
didn't
bummer.
Wraith didn't look this bad though. She just looked like a ghost with like even wider eyes than her skin somehow. Where Mirage looks like he's the kid who ate paste in the back of the classroom, and these are the effects of it as he grew up.
If we're gonna point some good things out, like there's a lot of detail with like the deco as far as like his suit and
Oh yeah,
the
if you take
cleavage
his
and
head and
everything.
throw his head in the trash, the figure's great. Like the
There's
sculpt
some
for
good,
his like weird like Mirage like
yeah,
things on his arms and the deco on his suit look absolutely fantastic. It's just that
yeah.
face looks fucked.
I also am curious, just in general, with the line as to why, or like what characters, like what's a going into the process of choosing the characters and what skin and what how does that
Hmm.
work? Because it's interesting. I mean, these are kind of like OG characters from like the initial launch, but they've added so many more characters to the game. They've also have a ton of different skins. So why do Mirage with the basic skin when you can do Mirage with all the other ones and
Well, so I believe what it
Pathfinder's get another one? Like
is
what is it?
the first time they release the figure, it comes in its base skin because
Okay.
both Pathfinder and Bloodhound were in Series 1, I believe, and they were just their base skin. They weren't anything special.
Right.
And
So that
same thing
makes
with Wraith.
sense.
She was in her base skin, and then when she showed up again in Series 2, she had her legendary skin.
Okay. So it's a legendary skin is
Yeah,
for
so
like the second.
essentially you get your the first release of that character is base skin. Second release they do a rare or legendary skin, and then I assume as they roll out they'll keep doing more and more skins. The only thing that I'm kind of interested in is I wonder if Pathfinder or any of them for that matter are going to get any of their more elaborate skins because they did do a different head sculpt for Wraith in Series 2 where she has the helmet on,
Mm.
but like Pathfinder, a lot of his like alternative skins that aren't just color changes change him completely. Like they'd have to
Shape and everything.
retool an entire body and head, and I don't know if they're going to
I
do that.
think- Yeah, I think they would probably shy away from that just because
Money.
money. Yeah, but I would say even still well, I guess that's just paint, but the Bloodhound that's different, like kind of right? Maybe
I think it's the same sculpt. It's just
skull.
different color scheme.
Oh,
I
interesting.
think he might have some extra rags or something on him, like, but
Yeah,
it's nothing like dramatic. It's not like how now they had that big like celebration of 2 years anniversary event where they all
oh yeah,
had
with
like
the
demon oni masks and shit on.
yeah,
So
interesting. I mean, I'm still interested into the line if they make one of my favorite characters now that's in the game who came in, I think season 6, which is Rampart. Um, I would be down to buy this, but I
but
just
not
can't.
if she looks like
She looks
Mirage.
like it's so bad. But now that we like ragged on them for a minute about their Apex figures, can we please talk about how amazing the Sonic figure is?
Oh, 100%. Like
Yes.
I'm super down with this. It looks cool. The faces like that you can change and like mix and
Yeah,
match
with
look
the dots.
awesome.
Yeah.
The display stand is incredible.
Yeah. I'm 100% in on this.
I think the only thing I don't like is that he's 6 inches tall.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not like.
I mean that puts him out of scale with everything because he's not a
Well,
big
yeah,
dude. He's
But look at
itty
the
bitty.
stage. It's not supposed to be with anyone else. It's supposed to be
Yeah,
like this is the thing.
but if I'm gonna get a Sonic figure, I'm gonna put it with my other video game figures. And if he's as tall as fucking Master Chief, then we got a problem.
That's fair. That's fair. For someone to like if you want to have it like on display with
Mhm.
other gaming figures, I can get that. For me, this is one of those things that are like cool. Like I just
Yeah.
want this to go on a shelf with like my controllers, and it'll be a part of my gaming stuff, but
Mhm.
not like you know the actual thing. So I'm really excited for this. I'm actually trying to,
Pre-order right
um,
now.
yeah, not be so awkward about this and
uh,
pull up.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'm all sorts of down for it. I think the selling point for me is if they do one or two more figures
Like
and you get Tails
tails,
and
or
Knuckles, so that way it's
yeah,
not just him by himself. Because
like
I don't
tails,
really
like
have
got
anywhere to where I can display just one figure, and he'd
hmm
be really out of place with everything else. So I'd want something where I can maybe have like the stage like extends into like a first, second, third like position like
Oh, that
thing.
would be cool.
So like
Well,
Knuckles comes on one that's slightly shorter than Sonic's, and Tails comes on one that's even shorter than that, and like a
oh, I see what you mean. Like the podium,
yeah,
like
like a
for
podium,
okay,
like first, second, third
I see what
for
you
the
mean now.
stands. Like I feel like that would be kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, I mean that it does show them in the inside, so you know maybe we
Yeah,
might
I mean,
get
you never know. Never say never. If this sells well, I can't imagine Jakks is gonna be like, we don't like money.
that. Also, 40th anniversary or 30th anniversary. When did that? Jeez, I don't pay
When did
attention
we
to
get that
stuff.
old?
Yeah, like jeez. Well, I wasn't even alluding to that. That's also depressing, but yeah, cool.
I mean, I'm more stunned. I didn't realize that Sonic came out the year I was born.
Oh, yeah. I
I
mean,
I
how?
mean honestly, I thought it was older than that. I thought Sonic came out like in like 88 or 89.
Oh,
So like
okay.
the fact that it came out the year I was born kind of threw me off.
You're just as old as Sonic, kind of.
I am, and he's growing. Apparently, it took him 30 years, but he's now doubled in size.
I'm into this, and it's cool because there's a bunch of other stuff coming, like with the Sonic TV show being announced, and
Mm.
that's
And
cool.
Sonic the movie too.
Well, yeah, the second version or
Yeah,
second movie, yeah. So we got a lot of Sonic, which is exciting. So cool. I'm happy we're getting what we're getting.
yeah. I'm
You
glad that
know,
he's finally getting some sort of like proper representation because he hasn't really been in the spotlight in a good manner in probably 15 to 20 years.
true.
So
Sonic's cool again.
yeah, I'm glad Sonic's cool again, and it's classic Sonic. It's not weird, angsty teenager Sonic.
Well, you don't know how this Sonic talks.
I mean, he might be still
I
angsty, but
know.
he doesn't. He's not weird, like lanky, like long
Yeah.
limbs, long hair Sonic. Like, granted, that I think that Sonic was cool for the time, and I get what they're going for. But I feel like this is Sonic. Like,
This is classic Sonic.
yeah. So I'm all for that. Moving on though, in news that my cousin Jake will love, Mego put up pre-orders for the new Rocketeer figure. He's available for pre-order in Big Bad Toy Store for $18.99 and ships this month. And if you and him want to talk about Mezco looking like Ken dolls, here you go. Like, doesn't get much more Ken
Well,
doll than this.
kinda, but I
Not
think
even kinda.
because of the soft goods, like the coat does. It's, the reason why it's the Kindle effect is because of how the tightly the fabric fits to the figure. That's where I get that weird Kindle
What
look. I
did you
don't
do
know
to
why.
Ken? Why did you have Ken in spandex?
Dude, I can't explain it. I didn't own a Kindle.
You
It's
must
just
have, because I've never heard of him being in spandex. Usually he's in his little short shorts, or he's in like a ascot. Like I've never seen like an advertisement for Ken dolls
you
where he's like
have the
in a
fancy ones.
spandex like outfit where you could he can move his arms and you can see the creases.
Just in my mind, I tried to tell you before. It doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make
It's just
sense.
there. It's just there. But this one does look, the coat is really stiff or whatnot, but
Mm,
it is leather, so it's kind of the coin for like that illusion. But this is what you said for 18.99.
yeah,
I mean, that's not bad
it's not
for
bad at all. Like
yeah.
it's really
Solid.
cool. And nothing else, the Mego figures usually look really nice in the package. Like
Hmm
when they first like came back into the spotlight and started doing like DC and Marvel characters, I still haven't pulled the trigger, but there's a Nightwing that's like the first appearance Disco Dick version, and I'm like, I want it, and it just looks so cool in the package because it's got the card with like the classic image of him, and then it's just there in like the bubble package, like the old figures. So I'm like, one day I'll actually pull the trigger on that one. That one and the Reverse Flash I want. So like, if you're an inbox collector, this is gonna look great. If you're wanting out of box, we'll have to wait and see, because even on Big Bad Toy Store, they don't have any images of it. This is the only image I could find of this figure. So I'm not sure how it's gonna look in like high quality photos in like action poses, but if nothing else, you can hang it from your wall.
Jeez.
Not like.
Just joking. We don't even have to cover it. Let's keep going.
Moving on to Hasbro news. Star Wars collectors got some fun new drops. First, the new vintage collection Lando Calrissian and IG-11 figures got official images. Both are releasing later this fall, but no Preorders yet. Along with the new Black Series Gaming Greats Imperial Rocket Trooper getting official images expected to ship this summer at GameStop, but again, no Preorders available. Don't worry though, Marvel fans, you were not left out. We got new images of the Marvel Legends Red Guardian and Melina 2-pack. This 2-pack is up for pre-order on Entertainment Earth for $39.99, shipping in August. Now, this is not all for Marvel Legends, but before we get into this announcements, I do want to give you a spoiler warning. If you have not watched last week's WandaVision, or at least the end credits scene, and you don't want it spoiled, I would suggest going to the timestamp and hitting the next segment, so that way this doesn't get ruined for you. And I'm going to say it now, so this is your last chance. Oh, you're going to give a countdown? I wasn't going to be that nice.
Yeah.
All right. Riveting audio for the audio.
1.
There we go. We are getting a Marvel Legends colorless Vision figure. This was the only teaser, as there are no pre-orders or even a release window just yet. But the fact that it shown off in the show last week, and this week they're like, here's an action figure of it. That's a hell of a turnaround, considering most of the MCU figures were out of date by the time they released.
Which, I mean, I guess they would have to have known. Well,
they always know. It's just usually they're only given like concept art. They're never allowed to see the actual product. So that's why I'm shocked that they were. I mean, I guess this isn't very hard to do. They're like, make Vision white.
It's like it's prototype. They just use the prototype version of it. Remove
this call the factory. Hey, can you just send us a batch that's not painted?
This is really cool. It makes me excited, but at the same time, it is kind of a bummer because I feel like with this show being so popular as it is, I would like some like cool stuff from this. But granted, that's possible. If we're getting this, maybe we would get them in like their Halloween costumes.
That'd be a cool set.
It was based off of like the old comics, but it still would be cool with like, Elizabeth Olsen and, all that good stuff. Like having that kind of look. That would be awesome. But I don't know. Kind of cool. Look forward to seeing more from this. But like you said, hopefully it doesn't come out like 2 years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they're showing off in this manner, it'll probably release later this summer, which will suck because obviously at that point the hype train's kind of already died down. Everyone have moved on to Winter Soldier and Falcon. And then whatever comes after that.
Loki.
That's right, Loki's after that.
Yeah.
So I think it's really cool. I do expect that if we get the Halloween costumes versions, like a 2-pack, it'll probably be a Comic-Con exclusive, because I can't imagine them putting that on shelves, because it would be like a 50-50 hit. I can't imagine there's going to be a huge...
Hey, no Comic-Cons happening, so...
Yeah, but they'll... I mean, spoilers for later in the show. But there's still... all these companies do their like virtual at home and still do con exclusives.
Yeah, but it's easier to, easier. What am I talking about? But it is a chance. At least you don't have to fly to another state.
Oh yeah, you don't have to go to California to attempt to to stand in line hoping to get a figure. You can actually just order it online and then still get disappointed because the servers crashed 6 times.
Yeah, or the bots.
Then again, Hasbro was the one company where it almost seemed like theirs were made to order. They just put up orders for like a day, and then they showed up like 3 months later. So they were one of the easier companies. If you wanted to get the exclusives, you could. It wasn't like a sellout situation for the most part.
Down for it. What's this Black Widow? Is that like a movie or something that's
Yeah, it's a
going
movie that,
around?
was supposed to get made, and then they dragged their feet, and then it did get made, and then some bad things happened, and they still haven't released it yet, and they still haven't quite decided what they're doing with it because they want that movie money, but they realize that it's going to
Yeah.
be a hot minute before they can make that movie money, so they're just relying on Disney Plus TV shows to keep the boat afloat.
It's cool no less to see these, but it's so weird like going into like Targets and been looking at these Black Widow figures for so long
Oh
that
yeah.
like, okay, cool, we're getting more into that line. Okay. Yeah.
I will say
It's, it's,
I tip my hat to this 2-pack just because Red Guardian comes with an action figure of himself, and
I figured you were gonna
I
enjoy
popped
that.
for that. I was like, okay, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, I mean, it's literally the same problem that the Wonder Woman 84
Oh yeah, they're
figures
in
had
for
is
so long.
that McFarlane released them when the movie was supposed to come out, and then there was such a huge delay that they were literally still on the shelves when Wonder Woman finally released on HBO Max. So it's I mean,
Yeah,
points to them for not,
tough
being
time,
dicks and clearancing out all of those figures.
man.
But I'm not shocked that these figures didn't sell well since the movie got delayed 3 or 4
Of course,
times at this point.
yeah. You don't have like that, connection to the movies. I mean, Black Widow, but you don't
Yeah,
have
like everyone, like
yeah,
hardcore Marvel fans know these characters already,
right.
but you don't really get that connection to this version of the character without seeing the movie. So you're kind of
Right.
buying it, hoping that, oh, this is gonna be as badass as I hope it is, kind of thing. Which it's the MCU. I can't imagine a scenario where it's gonna be a flop.
Fair.
They haven't had a flop in a decade at this point. Because really the
Yeah.
only flops they had were at the beginning. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
what was it? The second Thor movie was real bad,
Yeah.
and uh,
Yeah, Dark Side or Dark World.
Dark World, yeah. I think there was another one that people were like kind of about, and personally,
Iron
I
Man
wasn't.
3, I think people were iffy on, but
Yeah, and people were also iffy on Iron Man 2, but I thought it was a good movie.
well, yeah, that's a good one.
Um,
Yeah.
and I feel like I personally am not a huge fan of the first Captain America movie, just because I'm not like it felt like a World War documentary more so than a Captain America movie to me.
Sure.
But I mean, it was what it was, and it did its job. Um, but we can't have Marvel take all of the spotlight
Yeah, I
here
mean,
with Star
we care so
Wars.
much about these Star Wars figures that we're talking about the flops in the MCU.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So the Rocket Trooper looks really cool.
Yeah, so it's
The fact that it's a gaming greats is kind of iffy to me, just because GameStop's gotten better about having these in stock, but I remember the first few sets of these were like really hard to find. So I'm hoping if it stays on track, this will be a pretty easy find, and it'd be a cool addition if you're someone who like has an army built like a stormtrooper slash clone trooper collection.
yeah. It's always cool to just have more. I guess Star Wars is gonna kind of happen forever because they're
Mhm.
gonna create more
Oh yeah,
stormtroopers,
they're gonna
and
make
it's
like
just
this
infinite.
one has
Like,
a orange paint on his mask.
yeah, he's a lieutenant stormtrooper, sir. I don't
He's
know,
got an
just
extra shoulder pad.
so it's gonna go on forever. But it is always cool to see like these different forms because
Mhm.
no matter how long it goes, stormtroopers are still one of the coolest looking things.
Oh
Like
yeah.
it just hands down is. But um, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and as far as like Lando and IG-11, Lando looks cool. I think they did a great job of his cape and the fact that it actually
Mhm.
has the like different colored
Lining.
fabric on the inside. And then IG-11 I think is just cool just because if you manage to get the Razor Crest before they blew it up in the show, he'll be a great addition to just have chilling in the back seat while Mando's
Yeah.
waiting for that to happen again.
Now, excuse my ignorance, but these are smaller figures,
Yes, these
right?
are the 3 3/4. They're the
The three,
vintage.
okay, 3 3/4. Yeah, because that, yeah, we'll get to that later.
Oh,
Because no, I just comparison. That's all.
oh
But
okay.
go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't really have much else to say about the Star Wars figures. They're cool.
No, yeah, that,
I try not to collect the line just because it's such a deep rabbit hole that if you fall in it, you're gonna be building a house out of the boxes just to keep warm
yeah.
at night. So
Star Wars is gonna go on forever, and there's
yeah,
so many different characters that
and
it's
they do different.
possibly complete that line.
You've
Yeah,
got like concept art versions. You've got movie versions, you've got concept of the movie version if they haven't
Yeah.
been in live action yet, and then you've got the cartoon version. So you literally have 4 or 5 of almost every character if you're a completist. And at that point, you literally need a mansion to have a basement big enough for all these, let alone room to display them all.
Storage unit.
Then at that point, you're just like, I'm gonna go visit my Star Wars action figures, honey. I'll be back in a few hours. Sure, that will go over well. Oh man, moving on though. Super7 released a new image of the upcoming Thundercats reaction figures. Shown are Lion-O, Panthro, Mumra, Cheetah, Slith, Tigra, Jackalman, Mannequin. I don't know. I didn't watch that. Snowman of Hook Mountain, Groon, Jaga, Spirit, and Mumra, the mummy version. These are available for pre-order on Big Bad Toy Store for $17.99 each, shipping this month as well. So I assume you're laughing because I fucked a lot of those names up because I have no clue.
We need just a segment of you just listing, reading off like 80s figure, 80 cartoon characters. One, you just seem so thrilled to have to be saying Lion-O, Panthro, but it's all good fun. Yeah.
Well, just because I knew going into the segment, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck up at least 3 of these names because I have no clue. Like Monkeyan, I don't know even know fucking which one that is, let alone how to say that.
It's fun.
Yeah, this reminds me of the old segment in that old podcast we did where we made you read stupid shit.
Yeah, I finally get revenge. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna go in too crazy on like reaction figures. Like I said my piece mostly because it was reaction figures of a line that I care about, and I just had strong feelings about it. But yeah, that's why I asked the size because, you know, it bothers me, the articulation. But to me, that's probably because it doesn't appeal to me, and I'm sure there's people that this like is their jam, you know, and that they like the way those figures look because that maybe is what they grew up on. So that's fair. But yeah, they don't do too much for me. The Ultimate line. That's
the Ultimate line is where it's at. But I will say the reaction figures, if you're an inbox collector and you just had a wall covered in them, would look really cool.
I agree, and that was the one thing I did want to give credit to was the artwork and stuff. It's cool, like the packaging. That's what it's really all about. Is what you're kind of buying the artwork for because that's all. Now go ahead and read the characters' names.
No, I'm good. We're gonna stay on the '80s train here, though.
Oh yeah,
Mattel showed off their Target exclusive Masters of the Universe Origins Keldor and Cronus Rise of Evil 2-pack. This 2-pack will be $29.99 and is listed on Target's website, but not yet available for pre-order. So this would have been great. I mean, you're Nate this week, so I need some excitement. Yeah, so, like, how excited are you?
All of my Master Universe right here behind me. I'm really excited for I was gonna try and Keldor and Kronos Rise of the Evil. It was a really cool crossover with Resident Evil at this point in time. These are cool. I like the Keldor guy. It's like blue and cool. I'm sorry, Nate.
Wow, new Nate is not doing well this week. I do agree. Keldor looks really cool. If I was a Masters of the Universe fan, I feel like he'd be one of the guys at the top of my list. Like him and Skeletor would be like best friends on my shelf.
Yeah, I do have to say because I think I'm becoming like a fan of. I guess I'm a fan of inbox like collecting, but at the same time, I just like to open my shit. But this is a cool way of like the 2-pack window like design. How it's like half artwork, the other half like figures. Looks cool to me. I don't know if I don't see that often.
It looks very old school. I dig it.
Yeah, it looks like the thing you used to get with the little circle things you put in. I don't know if you were too young for this. The Viewmasters.
Oh yeah, like you do the thing, and it's just
that's the kind of box that just gives me that mental.
It's very 80s.
So that's a cool thing, and it's neat to see the Mattel logo on the front of that, which Obviously, it's from Mattel, but
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't know why that
it
still
feels.
excites you.
I don't know. It just feels very retro in a sense.
I
So
gotcha.
nostalgia factor is built in. So I can't wait to see these on Nate's shelf at some
Yes,
point.
on one of Nate's weekly purchases when he
Yeah.
eventually heals up from his plastic surgery and returns to the show.
Brazilian butt lift. I wasn't supposed to tell everyone.
Oh, damn. His booty's going to look so good, though. Speaking of things you can build, Lego released information on the new Lego Ideas Disney 100 Acre Wood Winnie the Pooh set.
Wow.
This set includes Pooh's house, saying that sentence, and minifigures of Winnie the Pooh, Tigger, Piglet, Rabbit, and Eeyore. The set will run you $99.99 and will be available on lego.com March 18th for VIP members and April 1st for us common folk. I don't know about you, like, as a kid, I loved Winnie the Pooh, and this is just really cool to me. Like, I wish
It
that I
really
would have
is.
gotten these as Legos as a kid.
Yeah, but they were $100, so you probably didn't.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That probably would have been a little bit
No,
deeper.
these are really cool. And Winnie the Pooh is something that is just the ultimate evergreen like character. Like it's gonna be around forever. Like it's just insane to think about that. Like they're making Lego sets for $100 of Winnie the Pooh. Like it's crazy.
It's not even like a thing where this is just like, I mean, it's Lego's Ideas like sets, so it is kind of targeted more for adults, especially at that price point. But even like my nieces and nephews, like they go to my mom's house and they know who Winnie the Pooh is and Tigger and Piglet and all of them because she has like little knickknacks on the shelves and stuff that they recognize. So this isn't a property that is like solely based on nostalgia. Like it's still going on and still kind of strong in people's minds. And the set itself, like the fact that it like the tree opens and then you have like his actual house inside, and you get all of the main characters. Like the only thing I'd probably want like beyond that would be maybe Owl, just because like I really liked Owl as a kid because he was kind of an uppity asshole to the rest of them.
I would have thought Eeyore was your.
No, Eeyore is me as an adult. He wasn't me as a kid.
Okay, then,
as a kid I was the uppity asshole. As an adult, I'm just sad and depressed all the time. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
I do also like that Eeyore he's not like just a head on the minifigures. He's actually his own piece. Because I guarantee if this set came out like 20 years ago in the 90s, they 100% would have like just took an Eeyore head, put it on one of the minifigures, and bent him over and been like, "Here's your Eeyore."
That's fair. No, this is pretty awesome though. It's very cool. This is something that I would admire of someone else's hard work putting it together. Myself, I wouldn't want to do it all. But it would be really cool to look at it and see someone do it.
I love putting Legos together. They're just so damn expensive. I had to stop. I used to have a huge like Lego collection with all the DC comics and Marvel comics stuff, and even some Star Wars thrown in there. And I would even like, I didn't really care for the way their Batmobile was, so I went and like made modifications to make it like my way. So I loved Legos for the longest time. It just got such a money pit, and I collected so many other things that I had to cut it out.
That's fair. I mean, obviously. When the Turtles, they did those for the Nickelodeon series, their second run. I bought every set and I was putting them together. I'm like, I hate this. This is so much work. It went from like, oh, this will only take me 10 minutes to it being like an hour. And I'm like, I'm just not good.
I can't wait for like 5 years from now when you have to put the little ones Lego sets together for him.
That's what I'm saying. We'll see. Maybe I'll change my opinion because I'll look so cool doing it. I'm like, oh, I got this.
Well, I got this.
Really, it's like, oh, they didn't give us enough pieces, okay? We can't put this
You're
together.
just gonna be like, earmuffs, motherfucker! Start yelling at it.
They sent us the box with not enough pieces, and these don't even fit together. So I don't know what you want us to do. Let's go get ice cream.
I like your solution to parenting. Ice cream solves everything. Moving on to something that solves everything, in my opinion, Tamashii Nations put up what is seemingly made to order pre-orders for their new SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Fighters Z Clone Super Saiyan Goku. He is $39.99, shipping fall of this year. Pre-orders are open from March 1st to March 31st on the Bandai Gaming website, I believe. I'd have to double check that. So don't miss out because Last thing you want to do is be the asshole who waited 31 days, didn't buy it, and then is asking people to sell it to him at retail when it's like worth $130.
Oh,
And Tamashii Nations also announced their next premium Bandai exclusive SH Figuarts pre-order for the Dragon Ball Z Final Form Cooler. He is currently up for pre-order for $80, shipping September of this year. I'm not gonna lie, I pre-ordered the clone Goku just because I'm like, it's
of course.
cool, and worst case scenario, it'll be good trade bait if I decide I don't want it. Knowing my luck, it'll be like last year when I got the event exclusive Goku. It was like, oh, it'll be good trade bait, and then I loved it and kept it. I'm more down though for Cooler. Like, I normally
I,
would not do the non-canon movies, but Cooler's a badass character, so I don't care.
yeah, that one looks pretty dope. I mean, I think for some reason, this clone like Goku, like I don't know, man, it kind of has me into it, just because of the color, red
Right?
eyes, like everything about this, it screams cool. But I don't have anything else. I don't need to get into this. I don't need to get into this. $40 is not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
$40. Like, I was like, yeah, why not? And it doesn't charge till it ships, so it's kind of like Big Bad
yeah.
Toy Store, except for like an actual manufacturer website. So I was like, why not? It'll charge me in September or whenever when it ships, and at that point, I'll decide, okay, this is cool, and it's gonna make the shelf, or it's gonna be traded towards something I missed out on. We'll see. But
Did
Cooler.
you pre-order Cooler as
Oh
well?
yeah, I'm getting Cooler for sure. I loved the Cooler movies as a kid. He was
Mhm.
probably one of my favorite like non-canon bad guys, and it always made me sad when I eventually realized that the movies didn't actually have anything to do with the show. Um, so I'm definitely gonna get him, and I honestly hope that they do normal form Cooler at some point. And this
Mhm.
obviously opens up as well that they're gonna do second form Frieza for me. So I'm just like, give me all the big motherfuckers. As if I already have enough space, right? I don't need to try to figure out how
yeah.
to fit more on this shelf or anything. Um, so I'm all down for it. I especially like I like and hate the premium Bandai site just because I like the fact that it's just this is what it is. It's made to order. There's no issues of selling out or trying to hunt one down. It'll ship when it ships, which is great. I just don't like that it's upfront with the charging. Like you have to pay the
Oh,
80 plus shipping right now and then
and you
wait.
get it in September.
And I mean, granted, a lot of things are going more to this model.
Yeah,
It's
because I think
just,
we discussed this before with like
yeah,
the loot crate. It just feels like, oh,
yeah.
okay,
Loot
I guess
Crate
I'll wait.
and Super 7 and even Neca, like their normal figures and stuff. So a lot of things are moving to this model. So I'll start accepting it more and more. And it's
Right.
nice to just know that you have it. It's just hard because as much as I say, oh, you have a month to pre-order this or however long to pre-order this, doesn't mean for everybody that's easy to come up with that kind of money like extra
Yeah, right on the
because you may
spot.
have your
Yeah.
money already budgeted out for a bunch of other pre-orders and now you have to figure out how to fit this into the books. So
Right.
that's kind of like a give and take. Like it'd be nice if they
It's
give a
not.
little more notice instead of being like, hey, okay, so next month or in 3 months we're going to start doing pre-orders for this figure, so keep an eye out. You have to pay up front. Like give people a little more time to react to
Yeah,
it
I agree
and
with you.
plan versus being like, I have 30 days to figure out how I'm going to afford this figure kind of thing.
Right. I'm with you with that. Just give you more notice, and
Mm-hmm.
then that form would be perfect. Because I do prefer to pay for it if I know that for sure it's gonna meet this day,
Mm-hmm.
versus like saying, "Oh yeah, I'll pay the money now," and then it says 2021 fourth quarter or whatever, and you're like, "Wait, what? I need to know like when this is coming. If I'm gonna give you my $80 right now, I want to know for sure it's gonna be here in September. That's all. That
I
makes
mean,
sense."
realistically, the only thing that will delay this is if Aquaman decides he wants it, and then he'll take that ship down, and you'll have to wait another 3 months like everyone else.
he's, he's been victorious before, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
So I mean, granted, with the last couple premium Bandai ones that I missed because I was kind of unsure about the whole thing, and also one that I just kicked the can on and forgot about,
Mm.
I was able to find them from sellers in like Singapore who got them because they're right there next to the factories in
Oh,
Japan and everything, so they didn't have to wait for them to ship across the sea to get to them. So I got Gohan and Jace that way. And I got them.
okay.
Gohan I got at retail. Jace I paid like an extra like $15 for or something. But considering I missed out on the pre-order and Big Bad Toy Store was not afraid to overcharge on it, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain too much. So it's not the end of the world if you know where to look, you can find these. But it's easier just to order from Premium Bandai and pray that the ocean doesn't take it. Wrapping up the news, though, is something a little more somber. Uh, SDCC put out a statement announcing that even with vaccines, it would be not holding Comic Con in person this July. However, they hope to hold a smaller in person event in November if things improve. Which it I expected it. I'm honestly surprised they didn't just cancel it and wait till next year because I feel like Comic Con is a big enough thing. It needs that 12-month window between it.
Yeah.
Having it in November, especially if NYCC still happens in some capacity, the very next month you have Comic Con, it just feels kind of, I don't know, a little overkill. And it also means that now there's a chance we won't get any NYCC announcements because everyone's going to want to wait to announce their shit for Comic Con. So,
Right.
honestly, I hope that in November they don't do the in-person thing. Yeah, it sucks for people who are ready to be out and about and do that kind of stuff, but it's not needed. They're not going to be able to do it at full capacity. It'll likely only go to a few people and maybe some like reviewers and stuff like to be able to go.
Like
Which hey,
influencers.
Comic Con, if you want to send us to Comic Con in person in November, hit us up and we'll change our opinion.
Yeah.
Uh, but overall, like I don't think it needs to happen. I think it would be more beneficial to wait and just have it next July when things are finally starting to get back to normal and you can hold it properly. Even if it's still mildly limited, I don't think it would be as limited as it would end up be with this. Because with this, say they still hold it in the same place, they might be able to hold like 1,000 or so people in it to fit regulations. And even then, you'd be stupid to not think that there's not going to be any social distancing. They're not going to be policing people with their masks because there's people who are wandering around and taking it off because it's hot. And Comic Con is already a breeding ground for disease.
Oh,
Like if you go to a con and don't get the con flu, you have a crazy immune system. Like it's so I can't imagine going there during all of this.
Yeah, it makes sense. Just postpone it, wait and give it, till next year. We're like kind of in the place where we're seeing positive change.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we just kind of wait it out a little bit longer, it'll be good. Especially being in the location that it's in, it seems like they have a lot more restrictions anyways.
Yeah.
So they're not really lifting that stuff as fast as like other states are. So this makes 100% sense. But yeah, I mean, personally, as a person who hasn't been able to go to San Diego Comic-Con, keep it closed. Keep doing the virtual stuff if you can. I'm all good with that, but I feel like we are getting probably less announcements and stuff because of that too. So
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at least last year, I will say Toy Fair was a lot juicier than normal.
Yeah, true.
But
That's true.
like last year with both Comic Con and NYCC, I feel like we went from what would normally be huge reveals to like a couple, like a handful here and there. It was never anything that was like crazy, and which was understandable because they didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for it because no one knew what was going on. They didn't know how long things were going to happen. So I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you still had all these things planned for Comic Con, so you could have still done it, but it is what it is.
Logistically, sometimes is an issue. The only thing I would hope, just like a lot of things that have happened because of the past year of 2020, and obviously currently now, I would hope that we carry over some of the things that they continue with. So maybe doing the con exclusive figures, having an online presence for the figures, and then also having an in person thing. So giving people that opportunity, obviously inclusion is the opposite of exclusive.
Yeah,
exclusive
it's kind of
like, but
Jamar
still,
wants
like,
that Comic Con inclusion figure.
Yeah, I just feel like that gave me more excitement for like what was going to be announced and things, just because I knew I had a possibility. I put that in air quotes because it was a possibility, but I'd like.
I will say, like, a lot of companies had already before 2020 start moving towards a shared exclusive. Like they still have things that you had to be at the con to get, but a lot of their bigger things were available either at retailers in a limited like sense or available online. Even Neca had like the
Yeah,
ability to
that's
do
true.
very limited pre-orders on their stuff each day. It was just so
Hmm.
limited that it didn't matter. You usually wouldn't be able to get it unless you were kind of on top of it. But like Funko always had their retail exclusives, and they made sure the sticker was different, so that way the purist would be able to be like, mine's better because it's got a con sticker on it. Yours is summer exclusive, you fucking casual. Um, Even I think really the only companies that didn't really have anything like that. I don't know if Tamashii Nations did. Hasbro, I had like some that they'd release at retail, and some that they wouldn't. Mattel, I think, also did the same thing. I know they started putting the wrestling figure ones available on like e-retail sites. So
Cool.
they were already kind of moving to that model. And I think if anything else, out of all of them, I see
Uh-huh.
NECA and Hasbro staying at that way, because Hasbro was able to still get people hyped for a con exclusive, but also was able to make a shit ton of money because they were made to order and they shipped them at a later date versus having to
Yeah.
have X amount made and ready to go. And NECA, I feel like they're so they're determined to keep their fans happy because there's so many
No.
other like directions their fans could go to get things that they don't need NECA figures like they used to. So
That's fair.
yeah, so I definitely could see those two companies staying with like some form of shared retail exclusive or online order like process.
I just hope it stays that way. Maybe build it out more. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like I said, we'll probably see more of where things are going next year, more so than this year. Because even if they do the November event, I can't imagine they'd have things fleshed out enough to really be able to
To
tell what
have it.
direction it's going in. Um, that
So
is,
we'll see next year.
yeah, we'll talk about that next year. But this year is still happening, which means it's time for Turtle Watch 2021.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah.
I
Is that
like it.
excitement?
I
Is that
like
what
that.
you want?
That's the level of
Okay.
excitement I've been waiting for like 57 episodes. I am DTF with that.
Is that many?
Um,
Holy
it's been
crap.
we've been at it for a while. It doesn't seem like it because it's not really moving far, but we've been at it for a while. So, in Turtle Watch news, Playmates got Turtle fans at a half chub with a new re-release of the movie star Turtles 6-pack, featuring all four turtles, Splinter and Shredder in a cool trolley car box. These went up for order for $49.99 and quickly sold out, but keep an eye out for restocks before going to eBay because the last couple sets went up a couple times before they finally shipped, and even after they shipped. On the NECA side of the fence, though, Randy tweeted new images of the Loot Crate exclusive Scrag in both human form and bat form, while the Fwoosh got an exclusive look at the Armagon figure reveal. The Loot Crate is still available for pre order for a couple more weeks, so don't miss out and be that asshole who complains that he didn't get the Loot Crate figures and wants them at retail. I,
Um,
I'm gonna say this right now. The
uh,
Fwoosh revealing the Armagon figure happened
uh,
minutes before we started
really, I was
recording.
just like saying, like, I don't remember seeing this happen, so that would make sense then.
Yeah, so that was
Um,
like a huge like breaking news moment. Um, the
hmm,
Scrag thing happened earlier in the week, I believe, and then of course,
yeah.
yeah, I know you're excited for the Playmates movie 4 or 6
Well,
pack because you love your
so
polio turtles or whatever it is they are.
I do, and honestly, like, I kind of like kick the can, if you will, because you say that,
I
a
do. I
lot.
kick the
So
can a lot.
I kind of kicked the can, or I guess I should say I jamarred it, because this is like typical for me, where it's something I'm like, nah, I'm good on. I don't really need these because I do have them like loose,
Hmm.
and then I'm looking at it more again. I'm looking at the box, and I'm like, man, I probably should order these. So I probably will look out just for like the restocks and just keep an eye out, just to get these, because it does remind me like the packaging is like really cool. So
Hmm.
I think I will do it, but I don't know. I won't be too happy about it, but I'll do it. Like I said, I'll do this. Maybe Playmates will be like, "Oh my god, people like these polka dot sick turtles. Maybe we should get Super 7 to make a remake of these,
Oh
or
my god.
maybe next." So yeah, I'll do it for that. I'll do it for that. But yeah, as far as the loot crate stuff, I think I may have mentioned this just a normal conversation. I don't know, maybe it wasn't with you, but it's a bummer, but it's also like exciting to see these figures, because I kind of wanted it to be like, boom, I open it up and like, oh my god, this is so amazing. But seeing them ahead of time still has me like, oh my god, I can't wait until I get them. Starting with like the Scrag, like seeing the bat head, and it just looks so cool. Like it's cool as hell, and I can't wait to just put them up there like Rocksteady and Bebop. I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do my shelves again, and I'm totally excited for it. But it'll be one of those things I probably won't really keep the human head on it too often.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, if you're getting this figure, I have to assume you're using the bat parts.
Yeah, that's pretty much gonna be the case for me with that one. And then of course the Armagon. It looks so rad. I wasn't expecting to be kind of like super thrilled with this. Like our friend Wes, he's like over the moon for it, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be cool. But now seeing this, I'm like, holy crap, they did like a really good job about it, like with this figure. So man, I'm not mad about my purchase of the Loot Crate at all. Not mad.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you, had we had that conversation, I would have said there was no chance in hell they weren't going to show these off beforehand, because
I figured it, but
like last time around, they revealed the figures in advance every time. It wasn't like this early. It wasn't like Preorders were already closed for it when they showed them. Like the only one we had absolutely seen was the Mirage Shredder at that time. But then like maybe a month or two before the arcade box, we saw the glow in the dark Shock Turtle, and then a month or two before the cartoon box, we saw the Rocksteady and Bebop in the bunny suits. So we would have eventually still saw them. You would have had to avoid the Turtle Watch 2021 to be able to be surprised and open the box and not know. But I have a theory that they're showing these off because they're not selling as fast as they want them to.
Yeah, well, I will say I don't know how well the last Loot Crate sold, but I will say I didn't initially jump on board because I didn't 100% love the idea of like, sure, I'm gonna jump into this box set. All right, I know what this one's gonna look like. Am I gonna get to see all the other ones? So I think it's a catch-22 because I'm saying I'm wanting my cake and eating it too. I want to know the figures, but I also want to be surprised.
You don't want to throw your money at it and then the figure look like shit.
Right,
which
right.
is
so
reasonable.
I feel like it makes more sense to do it in this sense and in this fashion. Maybe that is something to do with sales, but maybe it is, all right, we probably could have increased our sales of the previous run had we have done these things. So maybe they're just trying to meet what they hit before, or maybe surpass it, and not necessarily like, oh no, these aren't selling at all. I
don't think they're not selling at all because there's still a lot of excitement for it. I'm just standing by what I said last week, which is these characters are super niche. They're not like last time where we got a lot of main characters like star power in it.
But now I just because you're saying this, and I had to cut you off, I do want to push back on that. Who's spending $200 on like a Ninja Turtle Loot Crate with these figures in it and aren't looking for more fringy characters?
Oh, I'm not saying that that's not the goal here. Like that was always the goal, even with the first set. It's just the first set, they were niche versions of main characters. So you still had that, oh cool, I missed out on the NYCC set of the Mirage Shredder and the Foot Soldiers. Now I at least have a Shredder.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the cartoon. Yeah, it was only in one episode, but Rocksteady and Bebop are awesome, so I'm going to get that 2-pack. Or, oh, I love the arcade turtles, and now I've got a glow-in-the-dark version of one of them getting electrocuted. Like, they were still, like, very much so, like, things that you could still get that casual collector in on, because either they missed something out or they're a super big fan of just those characters in general. Where these, you're solely getting those deep cut characters for people who are completists or people who are just like, I love that character even though they weren't very big. I'm happy it's getting made, which it's nothing wrong with that. I love the idea that that's the purpose of this, is to get figures out there. I'm just thinking that they're showing off the characters that we're getting like actual images of them sooner because the crate isn't selling as fast as they want it to. Because it's made to order. It's not a sellout scenario. So I'm guessing they had like maybe a timeline chart of what they were expecting to get, and they aren't meeting that. Yeah, they've got their Kickstarter meter, and they're like not on track to hit the goal they wanted, and they're like, okay, well let's show these people what some of the characters look like, and maybe that'll be like, oh, I didn't really play the game, but that big ass shark would look cool on my shelf.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of Scrag, but I'm not gonna lie, him as a bat looks really cool. So
I
I
could see. I get what you're saying. I feel like it could be a mixture of both. It could
mhm.
be push cells, but I also think it could be. Well, we know it worked last time, right? But could this work better if we showed the figures off earlier? Not after the pre-orders are already
Mhm.
closed. If we show it off now,
I mean,
because
there's no
yeah,
reason to not show off the figures day one, because
true.
realistically, you're it's not like you're going to be overtly not surprised because there's still a bunch of other shit you don't have any idea what it is in that
Well,
box.
yeah, like we're
Between
just
the
thinking
shirt
only of
and
just
the
the
knickknacks
figures.
and the
Yeah,
pins and stuff, you're still gonna have a lot of surprises. So I honestly feel day one should have just been like, here's the figures you want, here's what they look like, here's the
yeah,
prototypes, have actual photos of them that aren't like blurry or anything, and sell me on, oh, I may not have been into that character, but seeing the
this look
figure,
cool.
now I have FOMO and I'm gonna buy this
Yeah,
because I honestly feel like that's probably gonna be the people who miss out on these are the people who are like, oh, I don't know about that character, so I don't really know if I want to pull the trigger. And then 6 months from now, that character's gonna get like in hand, in person shots, and it's gonna look really cool. And that person's gonna be like, "Oh damn, I should have ordered that."
right,
So
right.
I feel like ultimately they should have just day one. Here's each figure that
Drop
comes
it
in each
all.
crate. You still don't know the other stuff that comes in it, so you're still gonna be surprised. Let's do this. And I feel like
Yeah,
that would make everyone more comfortable with being able to drop $200 on a dime,
if you want to do it
and also
awful.
would
Yeah,
have made collectors just in general more excited about it who might not be excited about it because they don't remember these characters and you can't really find good images of them on the internet.
like actual. Yeah,
Like Donnie the Dark, people it took I couldn't even find a Google image of him. Like it wasn't until
surprising.
people like posted it on Twitter and stuff that I actually like saw uh him again. Like I vaguely remembered him, but I couldn't remember him like right there.
Right.
So it's not like you can simply Google this character and be like, oh yeah,
Look 'em up.
that's awesome. I don't care. I want it. Like
Well,
these, that's how deep these
hear
are.
me out. What if they're just doing it because it was what 30 days for
Hmm.
the pre-order? What if they're just kind of gonna do a little drip free feed? Maybe Foosh will get all the exclusive looks
Hmm.
at the figures, going leading all the way up until the end of the
I
pre-orders,
was
and be
actually
like,
gonna say that. I think that since this is week 2 and we got the second crate, I think
mhm,
that next week we'll see Shredder and the last week we'll see Donnie.
yeah,
And that way they'll
just to kind of
still,
like continue building a hype.
yeah, which is cool too. I personally feel like waiting until the last week to have all 4 revealed, not great because then someone who might not have been into it suddenly might be into it. Now they have to scrounge together $200. Kind of sucks,
Hey, that's
but
on you. No, I'm
that's on
just
you for
joking.
being poor.
But you
Uh,
also have the option of buying individual boxes
Oh
too.
yeah, I know,
Yeah, so
and that's
that's
honestly
great
that's
benefits
what I'm
that
gonna
you
be
use it.
doing. I'm for sure getting the
Yeah,
cartoon box, and I might get the Mirage one. I keep teetering on the arcade one just because while I didn't like the figure, the rest of the stuff in the box was really cool.
hmm,
But I can't imagine lightning striking twice, so I think I'm just gonna cut my losses and just get
spit it out.
the 2 I want. Um, but yeah, I think that's what we're gonna see. I don't know if Foosh will get it each time because
Yeah. Well,
Neca has a
yeah,
lot of
just
relationships with a lot of other influencers who are not us. So, Randy, I know you watch Turtle Watch, and
hit
we
it
have
up. Hit it
both
up.
talked shit and praised you. So, you should give us an exclusive of Dark Donnie, or Donnie the Dark, whatever the hell his name is.
Dark.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, give us that exclusive so we can show it off. Um, but yeah, I'm all for it. I'm excited to see in 2 weeks' time if we do have all 4 revealed or not.
I'm gonna put money on it. We will.
I would put
That's
money on it too, but it's one of those things I don't want to
just funny.
guarantee it and then get disappointed.
Yeah. Oh man.
So
Fun.
that's it for Turtle Watch 2021, which means it's time for weekly purchases. I know
Oh, we're
everyone
not gonna
was.
end
I,
the show.
I remember everyone was missing it last week, but you know what? Last week, by the time we were done with Turtle Watch, we were at like an hour and 20 minutes, and I know none of
That's
y'all motherfuckers are actually watching the entire show anyway, so I didn't want to try to put you through that. So,
true.
weekly purchases. Jamar, have you? I know you've got some stuff. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. I mean, when you say stuff, You mean stuff? Plural? What? Whatever. All right.
I
So
don't fucking
my
know.
my coin phrase is shelf representation. Shelf representation. There we go.
Like that you had to do the syllables.
Oh, you're not gonna do the graphic? Okay.
No, we did discuss a graphic.
So there's a movie that my wife like loves near and dear, and it is Scream. I had to say it in my head because I always say scary movie, and that's because I got Ghostface here. I don't know if that's gonna pick up back here, zoom in, but yeah, it's the Toonie Terrors. First of all, I'm gonna buy the shark for Jaws. Like, I just love like the packaging. I just love the Toon figures, of course, because of like, I don't know if it's just what they do like a great job with the paint and all the design. Anyways, I just had to get this, and I needed to find a reason to. And I saw Ghostface. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. This is now my representation of my wife, a mass murderer, on my shelves. The only problem is I just don't know if I want to open it. But I definitely, oh God, no, I definitely think I will open this up just to have this out here. But that's cool. That's really my only thing.
All right.
I didn't get this at Target, which is disappointing. I kept going to Target
that's shocking.
every time we go there. Yeah, because they have like 1,000 of them. Every time I go over there, I look. No. I just happened to go to a toy store in the mall. Yeah, I went to a mall.
Oh man,
I don't know if you guys know what that
You're
is.
dated as fuck with that reference.
But yeah, they just happened to have it. I was like, yo, I gotta get this, and I told her, shelf representation. Gave her the whole thing, and she's like, yeah, it makes sense.
Shocked you didn't get the ultimate version with like the 3 different masks and everything.
Yeah, but I just love this.
Because the cartooniness.
Yeah, that's just too serious.
Plus, that's more of your wife. She's very animated and excitable, but she'll also murder you. So, like, it's very fitting.
She's gonna be a murderer. It's gonna be a cartoon.
She's gonna be a Scooby-Doo murderer.
Right. So yeah, that's what I have for this week. Murdering wife.
I have a pretty small week too. Nothing too crazy. So I did a trade. After the announcements from Mezco that they're, redoing some figures, I decided I'd rather unload the ones I have of the originals that I didn't want anymore now versus having to wait for them to come out and the price drop and then the price go back up and then try to find someone to buy it. So I was like, I'll just get rid of it now. So I did a trade and got the first release of the Mezco Joker. Last year had some money issues and had to sell my exclusive one, which is the cooler version of like the trench coat and the actual like comic accurate colors. So this is just a nice placeholder until I eventually rebuy that and find one at a good price. But I was super excited to get that. And then my even more exciting purchase after literally probably 2 months of looking at in the stores, going to Target and Walmart constantly, and not finding it. Entertainment Earth, of all places, fulfilled my pre-order and shipped it, and I still haven't seen it in store, but I've got my Death Metal Batman.
Oh, that's right.
And I am so excited. I've got the motorcycle back there.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Monday's review, so keep an eye out for that. And he turned out a lot better than I expected. And I'm excited because now I don't have to go to Target or Walmart because that was literally the only thing that like was out and about that's officially announced that I've been looking for, and it kind of saves me that hassle and headache of going there, being disappointed, and then coming home and crying a little bit. So I'm super excited he showed up, and I'm also excited that because my biggest fear of the the Mcfarlane stuff is sometimes it's flawless and other times it'll be like an eyeball is in the wrong spot kind of thing. I've seen some pretty rough paint apps. Like for instance, the White Knight Joker. My Walmart had 6 of them, and I literally had to go through and keep looking at all 6 because all but one of them, his pupil, one was like down here, so he had like some super lazy eye problems, and I'm like, can't be having that. So I opened it and I inspected it. And I'm like, oh my god, it's perfect. Thank you, toy gods. So. That was a pretty exciting moment in the sad modern toy for life.
That's still exciting.
It was. That wraps up weekly purchases, and that means it's time to close out the show. Hold up, future me. Before we go, I want to let everyone know about the giveaway. Once we hit 350 subscribers on YouTube, we will give away a first place prize of the Neca Ultimate Metalhead and a second place prize of the extra large Neca Musical Mugen Tour merch box bundle, which includes extra large t-shirt, tote bag, souvenir ticket, backstage pass, and 4 guitar picks. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and make sure to share our giveaway post on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag ModernToyFair100. You cannot share this to your fleet, cannot share it to your story, otherwise it will not be entered because it only lasts 24 hours. So make sure to go do that. Easiest way, go to Twitter, hit retweet, type the hashtag, you're done. It's our pinned tweet, real simple. So make sure to do that, make sure to subscribe, and don't miss out because we're inching closer and closer every day. So make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Jamar, let the lovely fans know about Why Are You a Gamer?
Oh, I was so confused. So, Why Are You a Gamer is a podcast of figuring out why people play video games. Obviously, you would probably ask yourself that question right now. Go ahead. Just say, why are you a gamer? You don't know. That's why you need to listen to this podcast. And also check me out on YouTube as well to check out for other episodes and new episodes coming as well. That's my pitch.
Awesome. I like the elevator pitch. Reel them in, baby. You can also catch my lovely voice over in the Gimmick Minute Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about everything that's going on in the wrestling world, from WWE to NXT, AEW, and even sometimes the indie circuit. So check that out and listen to me, Jason, and Kevin shoot the shit for an hour. You can also support us here at Modern Toy Fair by clicking the link below for tpublic.com, where I sell shirts with our logos on it, Why You a Gamer logos on it, Gimmick Minute logos on it, and even other designs that I've made up in Photoshop, assuming that Warner Brothers hasn't taken them down, because they apparently have gotten really, really interested in people's IPs that they've been ripping off. So check out my store. I greatly appreciate it. As always, please make sure to like and subscribe, but not only that, leave us a comment below with the announcements you are excited for. And if you enjoy our faces, hit the little bell. Get notified when our videos go up. You have Modern Toy Fair news every Friday with me and Jamar, and sometimes Nate when his surgery is over. And then you have Modern Toy Fair reviews on Mondays and usually Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what I've got in the circuit. If you, for some reason, don't enjoy our faces and you're just like, them some ugly motherfuckers, we have an audio-only version of Modern Toy Fair News available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Spotify, and other podcast apps you know and love. So check that out, and we will see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.
It's not as cool. That's why I gotta open it.